Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation. Coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that every day. And I say that because I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my weekday or my twice a week long form podcast, you guys, because I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all this information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. It's Monday. You guys, as you all know, it's daylight savings. I've already fallen victim to that because, unlike every other fucking part of the country, in Arizona, we don't change time at all. And I have customers on Pacific time, and I gave them a wrong update because I thought the time is what it is. But you know what? I owned it up. I made mistakes. It's part of it. But yeah, you guys. So we got some articles we're going to break down here. I got a solo show today. I do have a couple of guests we're going to be jumping on here later this week. But before we do anything or go any further, got to give some shout outs in the comments here. JMan493. So Convoy Tech Stack sold to Flexport, but none of its liabilities. I did not know Convoy included over 80,000 carriers. Yeah, man, it's interesting, but I think that just goes along with everybody, all the carriers that are set up. And when people say that they have 40,000 carriers in their network or 80,000 carriers in their network, I think a lot of it is subjective because are they actively using them? Are those carriers even still in business? Are those MCs still valid or anything like that? But let me see here. Steve Setka, the load pimp from Winnipeg. Let's go, bro. I love that. Corey Buchan, happy Monday. Tracy St. Clair watching over on YouTube. Good morning. YouTube's growing, you guys. Jump over there. We go live on there as well. It's a growing presence, you guys. Bill McIntyre, good morning. Happy Monday. Zena, morning to you. Thank you for tuning in as always. Flo, good morning. Cole Mikulik, what is up, brother? Good to see you, Cole. Cole's got his he's got his agency through SPI like I do, you guys. That's where our brokerages are from, and we're building it up over there, you guys. If you guys want to take control of your financial future and join the team, hit him up, you guys. Hit up Mike, hit up me. I'll put you in contact with anybody you need over there. Yeah, not an orange shirt today, V. You are correct. I threw one on because I looked at my laundry situation this morning, and I didn't have any shorts that matched to rock with the orange. So, I got some khaki shorts on to go with the black. Don't worry, though. It's the Freight Coach Logistics polo. I still technically have orange on there. But yeah, I know what you mean. Let me see here. It's Papa Freight. Good morning. Arizona runs on our own time. That is right. We have our own time zone. Literally. I don't even know you. V, I don't even know you anymore, bro. You want to have this conversation right now? It's like I only see you every 4 months. Coming in here telling me how to live my life. I'm just kidding, bro. Matt Dahl, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Jonathan, what is going on, my man? RVS, morning, happy Monday. All right, you guys. Yeah, it is a happy Monday. There's a lot going on. And a lot of it is, it's coming to that time, and these articles are, kind of in line with the topic that I wanted to talk about today. A lot of it was time management, because at the end of the day, you guys, like we've been talking about on this show, everyone complains about the market all the time. Ironically, when it's a good market, bad market, people are always going to complain no matter what. And, but what are you doing inside of your business? Like a lot of what I'm focusing in on. So I'm reading a book right now called Clockwork. And I am also using I'm also listening to an audio book called 10x is better easier than 2x, and a lot of it is on time management, and this is something that I truly struggle with a lot because fortunately, I have a lot of stuff going on, but I need to be better with my time so I can get my critical tasks done every single day. So, I'm in the process now. And when I say in the process, I mean, I literally started it this morning after I had sent out all of my prospecting contacts for the day. Getting an assistant, hiring an assistant, looking into social media, like edit, like a bunch of stuff, social media, marketing help, and all of that. So I can free up my time because our freight volumes are increasing. Contrary to popular headlines and commentary out there all over social media, people are onboarding new providers. People are working with different providers and companies, and they are setting you up. And I need to position myself because we're about to bust open the seams here. I can feel it. My business partner can feel it, and it's true. And I need to free up more of my time so I can be very, very focused in on those things. And I need to remove myself from completing those comfort tasks. And I think that that's one of those things that you kind of find yourself in, right? So, I've built all of this stuff up from out of my bedroom, very fortunately to be in this position, but I do find myself bogging myself down with those comfort tasks. And they use this in the audiobook that I'm listening to right now. But those comfort tasks keep you stuck. So if you're out there and you're going after the customers or the prospects that probably aren't going to bear any results for you, but they're comfortable because it saves you from the rejection of the prospecting, you need to look at that. And, in time management is everything, how you're structuring out your day. And I've talked about this before, and I'm going to heed to my own advice here because frankly, I'm digging myself into a bigger hole, bigger hole, excuse me. And I'm burying my productivity with that. And so it's something that I'm looking into and I'm going to start doing. And, I'm just going to have to find in a way to increase my revenue, but I've figured it out this far and I'm going to, I'll add another advertiser here very, very shortly. And that's going to help offset some of those costs, because I bootstrap everything, you guys. So revenue in, revenue out is all balanced here by me. So it's like these changes that I'm going to be doing, I will increase my revenue so I can bring on a team, more of a team, so I can increase my output and increase my focus on certain things and becoming more and more hyper focused in how I schedule out my day and everything else because my time management is everything. And I would highly recommend every single one of you who are like me and you're struggling with this, right? Because maybe you're building your business or you're building your book of business and you never seem to have enough hours in the day. And it might be because you're bogging yourself down with some tasks that you should outsource to somebody else and free up more of your time. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. That's my little spiel. Free up your time. Book that I'm reading right now is called Clockwork. And the audio book that I'm listening to is 10x is easier than 2x. And they are both very good resources to get in there and really check out to help you guys clarify some of this stuff that I'm discussing right now. But let me see here. What else do we got? What else do we got here? Yeah, V. I don't even. Oh, yeah. He said I don't know you anymore, and it's fair. It is a fair point. Anthony Jimenez didn't match. I am bougie. You know what, Anthony? I am. Because trust me, my wife wouldn't allow me to leave the house if I wore what I really wanted to wear every single day. You know how that goes. You've met my wife, Anthony. Joan, what is up? Morning from Texas. Thanks for tuning in. Thomas Weirden, freight morning to you as well. But let's get into some articles here, you guys. The first article we are going to break down is from the JOC. I should probably open up my coffee cup there. Aggressive truck broker stuck in soft market per C.H. Robinson. This is interesting. All right, here. It goes on to say, this is from my man, Bill Cassidy. The U.S. truck brokerage market remains extremely competitive despite signs that more brokers as well as truckers are exiting the business, C.H. Robinson said. I think it's a good point to interject that it's always extremely competitive in the freight brokerage market. All right, just wanted to put that out there. Goes on to say, it appears that brokers generally are being more aggressive than they've been in the past, using low rates to attract shippers in a very weak market, said Dave Bozeman, the president and CEO of CH Robinson, and who told that to Wall Street analysts during their earnings conference call. I think that that is also very standard across the industry, that people always use low rates to attract new shippers. And then it goes on to say, I think that in this kind of in excuse me, and I think with this kind of environment, I would expect to see more brokers struggling and going out of business, given where we're at, said Bozeman, who is a former Ford and Amazon executive out there. And I do want to interject this right here as well. Shout out to all my people sticking it out right now. You know, contrary to all some of these large companies who are out there shaking their head in disbelief why some of the smaller players are still in business, keep fighting. All right, don't pay attention to that shit. Somebody else's opinion, none of your business. You keep focusing it on you. And then nearly 1,500 property brokers have dropped out of the business since December, according to the FMCSA. That's 5% of the U.S. freight brokerage population, now approximately 28,100 companies. And if you ask some trucking companies, that is 28,100 too many in the market. Shout out to all my asset friends out there. I love you guys. That drain doesn't affect capacity much. However, the brokerage market is highly fragmented. Most brokerages are small firms, just as most trucking companies are small carriers. The overall size of the market is so large that a company such as Convoy, which had 1.1 billion in revenue, doesn't affect the market. Said CH Robinson. It's not having an overall impact on the market. And CH Robinson has benefited from Convoys going out of business. And then we certainly like the longer loads, and we've certainly been participating in winning some of that business. They had said, and still much of Convoy's business was local short runs in dense markets. And that's not a sweet spot for us, said CH Robinson. You know, and that is a good point to say here, you guys, because, you know, again, this is not a celebratory thing, but the reality is Convoy and Yellow are no longer in business, and the market has absorbed all of their volume, and everything has gone on without ease. And that's what's crazy, right? Like, and I think this is what keeps a lot of small businesses going, is because, like, if you look at that between Convoy and Yellow, we're looking at like $3 billion, three with a B, in freight in transactions that have seemingly been reabsorbed back into the market, right? So it's like, you know, what does this mean to you if you're out there prospecting right now? If you're out there trying to build your business up, $900 billion is a lot of business. I think a lot of people underestimate how large that actually is, and they very much underestimate how much of the market is controlled by the larger providers out there. Because, you know, again, if you're looking at it like the top 100, I think, don't even account for like 10% of the overall freight that's moved out there. And again, fact checkers are going to probably say something different, but I went to public school. All I'm trying to say is there's a lot more opportunities out there than you think. And just because somebody is a large logo or something like that doesn't mean they're effective. You guys, there's opportunities literally everywhere. It's just, how are you presenting yourself? How are you going out there and prospecting your customers? That's what you need to focus on no matter what. And it does go on to say that carriers are exiting the market as well. And that CH Robinson added 5,000 new carriers to their network in the third quarter compared to 11,000 trucking companies in the same period a year ago. And for all my shipper friends out there who are listening to that stat, that means that you're the largest freight brokerage in North America is probably setting up a lot more one-off carriers than you think to haul your freight. Just an FYI. The truckload market continues to bounce along the bottom with no signs of change out there, and we're not seeing any meaningful inflections in volumes and rates, said COO Arun Rajan from CH Robinson. And then a year-over-year basis, CH Robinson's average truckload line haul dropped approximately 13%, excluding fuel. And the average rate billed to the shipper also dropped 16.5% before fuel. And I think looking forward, there's going to be some customer spending that normally happens during the holiday season, and that'll impact the market a little bit. But there's nothing that we see that would suggest something sustaining or something different, they added. That article was from the JOC, aggressive truck brokers stuck in the soft market. I look at it like this. Pretty much everything I just read from that article. Shout out to Bill Cassidy, the man who wrote this article. Great guy. Had him on the show in the past. He puts out a ton of great content. But if you're dissecting this, like I am, anyways, or at least the way that I'm reading this, um, they're not making any changes in the way that they're operating, right? They're essentially chalking all of this up to the market. And again, if you want improvements, the improvements have to start from you. And you know, and this is the thing where complacency is very real, you guys. It's very real. And I have to check myself on this a lot too, because you think when you're in the door with certain customers, you think you're always going to be there, right? You think no matter what, you are going to move their freight, you are going to be a part of their network and everything else. And you think because you're in the door, maybe you could sit back and take your foot off the gas a little bit. And I just think that that's not the case, right? Like people are always assessing their network, and you got to look at it like that. Complacency is real, and I think complacency kills more books of business than anything. And I say that with confidence because guess what? I was an arrogant sales rep at one time too, and I thought that was going to be the case. Some of you listen to the show and be like, "You're still fucking arrogant." That's fine, but the reality is, you gotta not look at this from a complacency standpoint because I think that's what a lot of people do, especially if you work for a large logo because you think we're here, we're always here to stay. And that's not always the case. JOC.com, aggressive truck brokers suck in a soft market out there. Let me see here. Dionisio says, how are asset-based carriers optimizing their operations to capitalize on the nearshoring trend from Mexico to US and Canada, especially with rising uh, interest rates in the intermodal transport in Mexico. I don't know, man. I truly think though that if you don't know how to move cross-border freight, you're missing out on a massive opportunity because he is very correct. The nearshoring boom, I don't think has even remotely started to rear its beautiful head because it just I truly think that, you know, if you're not familiar with how to do that, you need to get familiar with how to do that or at least understand how it goes because I think that that's going to be a massive opportunity here coming up. Yeah, maybe I'll do a show on that because I do a lot of cross-border freight, ton of it actually, and I'm very well versed in how this stuff works. So maybe we'll do a show on that, and I'll just tell you guys how to do it. Papa Freight says such a crock. Way to take it all politically correct there, Steven. Flexport took in convoy tech stack and people without taking in the debt stays with the truckers owed, but the trade-off was the shippers who had to leave. Yeah. I haven't read enough on it yet. I saw that it happened. I just haven't read up on the details of everything. I'll have to do my due diligence here. Jason Doc Brown says, I wish we could see the stats on the carrier back solicitation has risen. Not possible, but just saying. Jason, you know, I actually had a Q&A on that on Friday. Somebody asked that. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, you as a broker, if a customer wants to bring on a new provider, you can't control that regardless of what's in your contract. I've had a lot of my customers, though, tell that specific carrier who has tried to do that, that all our freight goes through Chris. And if you want this load, you have to go through him. But I've also had the opposite, man, and I can't control that at the end of the day. And what are you going to do? Sue your customer and tell them what they who they can and can't work with? I don't know, man. I get it. It sucks. And I'm not trying to say that it doesn't, because it does. It sucks a lot, but I don't know if you can control that as much as you can. You probably got a lot of if you got really, really good customers, which I'm sure you do, they'll let you know. Nerf, you are phenomenal. I needed to see that. That is hilarious. He says, I am an arrogant, and he spit. Nerf, I love you, man. Good to see you. V says that is a complex question. It would probably need its own segment. Yeah, man. I got to reach out to somebody. I know a lot of people who also know a lot about the cross-border freight trade, and I should probably get them in on it as well. Next article, freightwaves.com. Truckers push the FMCSA to make brokers pay for detention time. Before I read any more of this article, I don't disagree with that at all. I've said this before and I'll say it again. For all of you brokers who take in all of that accessorial money from your customers and don't pay your carriers, you're part of a massive problem. And I know what you're going to say. How do I know this? Because I was that guy. But here's the thing, and I won't say any more on this, but you guys, I just said my opinion. I will say this. Answer this for me right now. How are you going to handle this phone call when that driver who is entitled to that compensation that your customer paid you calls that customer and says, "Hey, I want detention for this load. Here's the PO. Here's my bill of lading. The broker's not paying me." And then that said customer calls you and says, "Hey, I just got a phone call from such and such carrier saying that they never got detention. We paid you for that." How are you going to handle that? I know how I handled that. I got caught in a lie, and that customer point blank stopped me and said, "If you ever do that again, I'm pulling all of your freight." So again, what do I know? But I'm just saying, I thought I had it all figured out once too. Anyways, if drivers have to be federally regulated by hours of service, brokers should be required to pay drivers for lost time waiting to pick up freight because it ends up making roads less safe. That is an argument out there from owner ops and small trucking companies to the FMCSA on efforts on the effects of driver detention time and road safety in trucking operations. While carriers of all sizes have been concerned about the effects of driver detention on safety and operations, it affects us differently than established trucking companies as they are able to negotiate a maximum wait time and they are given priority when it comes to service, stated an owner operator out there. Um, Brokers would rather sacrifice the independent owner operators rather than hurt their relationship with the shippers or receivers because they would automatically lose their contracts. That's false. All right. I got to put that out there right now. Brokers won't lose anything if they charge their customers, because here's a very, very ugly secret that apparently isn't out there. The majority of customers paid attention. They truly, truly do. If you're a broker and you're afraid to ask it because you're afraid to lose their business, you are probably failing in more areas, and that's why you're not requesting it. Okay. I have had, I would say the overwhelming majority of the customers that I've worked with in my career have detention. They paid attention and they're willing to pay accessorials in the event that some of that stuff happens. But some of you brokers out there like to pocket that shit and not pay the carriers. All right. I'll say it. It's the truth. Chad Boblet talks about this a lot in his Facebook group, which I'm a member of, about setting preset rates with your brokers if you're going to haul their freight. And I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. He's right. He is right. If you're not going over that stuff with your providers, that's an issue in itself right there. But, you know, at the end of the day, the only reason your relationship's going to be hurt with the shipper if you request attention is probably because you're failing in another area, and you need to be aware of that. Another commenter to the ICR, which is the information collection request, asserted that although brokers know when and where a truck is heading for a pickup, we get there and still have to sit for hours and hours while our clock is ticking. As soon as we arrive, we should all start to be paid on the clock. It also makes these shippers and receivers more faster to send us on a safe journey from pickup and delivery. I think at the end of the day, you guys, there's two types of shippers. And I'm not saying delays don't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't issues at warehouses sometimes for personnel, product delays, and everything else under the sun. But here's a fact. I've worked with two types of shippers in my career. They go like this: by appointment or first come, first serve. That's it. Work-ins. For my carrier friends out there, if a broker ever tells you you're a work-in, it's because they failed on the load the day before, and the shipper said you can pick it up the following day, but you're going to get worked in, and we'll get to you when you can get to you, okay? Same thing with the receiver. Now, again, I'm not saying that there aren't backups at some of these facilities and this stuff doesn't happen, because it does happen at the end of the day. But, you know, there's just some key words out there that some individuals need to be talking about, frankly. Let me see. Arctic King Logistics LLC, a trucking dispatch service, said wait time related pressure to get back on the road to make up a delivery may lead drivers to make compromised decisions, potentially endangering themselves and others on the road. I don't disagree with that statement. I think it truly happens, especially in this market, and especially if they took a load going into a specific market and they know that their reload might not get picked up and they might have to sit. So that's a true statement. However, it's important to note that not only brokers are responsible, certain facilities contribute, often being short-staffed or simply not carrying and creating conditions where detention time is almost. I don't think. Yeah, I just don't. I don't agree with that section where the facilities aren't carrying and creating conditions where detention is almost guaranteed. Nobody wakes up and they're like, "How am I going to fuck people over today?" I just think that the reality is there are delays and things happen out there, and this isn't everywhere, right? But this is reality, you guys. This is the real world. This isn't sunshine and gumdrop land. Delays happen, things happen, but nobody intentionally wakes up and says, I'm going to delay my entire day and cause 50 of the trucks that I was going to load or offload to all be delayed just to piss everybody off. All right. Things happen. Not everywhere, but things happen. Several commenters, back to the article, excuse me. Several commenters said that the FMCSA should allow for an industry accepted 2 hours of wait time, and then it should be required for $100 an hour for detention time to be paid by the broker, shipper, or receiver. Hit them where it hurts, the bottom line, one person said, and $100 fee per hour to the driver and $300 to the carrier paid immediately by the offending. Okay. I'm just reading the article here. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to pay detention, but it just things change, because this is not as cut and dry as some people want to make it out to seem. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be detention paid. There should be detention paid. All right. Frankly, at the end of the day, but there are always two sides to the coin. What happens when somebody goes rogue for 3 days? We don't know where the carrier is, and then they just randomly show up at a shipper or receiver and then demand to get loaded right away and stuff like that. Like, there's two sides to the story, and that's where some of these articles are very much one-sided in that approach. And again, very, very clear. I'm not saying people don't deserve detention. They do. I've been very clear on that and how I've stated this, but I know someone's going to hear this and say something different. There are a lot of contributing factors that go into this stuff. All right. It's not as simple as this is the way it should be, because frankly, it would swing in an opposite direction that you're not going to like. Do we all need to come to the table and come up with probably a system of how this stuff is used? Yes, but there are a lot of small businesses out there who are shippers and receivers who probably wouldn't agree to that. And then frankly, at the end of the day, are you going to not take a load? I just don't think that getting the FMCSA or the government involved is probably the best thing. I think that having a conversation when you're booking with Micah, yeah, right there with you. Over regulation. We don't need any more regulation. I'm right there with you. You read my mind. I just think though that you need to decide that at the load booking level. When you're booking with a broker, have it clearly stated on the rate confirmation on what they agree to pay. Because again, at the end of the day, the driver does not need to sit there and wait and hope that they might get compensated for their time when they are losing out on additional revenue in that perspective. So I think that, talk about that on the front end. We don't want to get the FMCSA involved in this at all from a regulatory standpoint of this is a set law, because let's be honest, you guys, we don't need any more government laws coming out our way. We're already have enough laws and everything else under the sun. So that article, it's a good read, you guys. I truly think you need to look up on this and brush up on this. And if you're a driver, I really think you need to follow Chad Boblett's advice, which he's out there with his Facebook group. It's a rate per mile masters, and talking about and having preset negotiated detention rates with brokers prior to accepting loads. I think you need to look into that. And brokers, if you're withholding accessorials and detention and layovers and everything from your drivers, I already said what I said. How are you going to handle that conversation when that driver inevitably calls your shipper or receiver and asks them for the detention that they already paid you? How are you going to handle it? Because I already know how I handled it, and it damn near cost me a customer. So if you think you got it all figured out, I promise you don't. And maybe losing that business from somebody will help you change your ways, because it helped me change my ways. I would still be a shitbag broker if I didn't have it hit me where it counted, and that's in my pocketbook. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys always joining me out there. RV Singh, he says it's a fact out there. And Micah said, I appreciate this conversation. Brokers should just do the right thing. It's my truck sitting there losing money. And yeah, I hate the overregulation as well. Right there with you. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, you guys, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. We go live every single weekday. We break down some industry headlines. We provide some value that you guys can apply to utilize and see a meaningful difference in your business. And as always, if you guys get value in what you hear, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share the show out there. Hit up my friends over at Green Screens. Help you out with some pricing. Whatever you guys got to do, that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to reach more people. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.